Hi, welcome to another quick interview with Vocero Hispano. I am here with Governor Whitmer. I'm going to be asking her a few questions about what she expects in this election that's just about 8 days away. Thank you so much for your time. I know that you're super busy. You have a super tight schedule right now, but we appreciate your time.
Well, thank you. I think it's important. I'm glad you're covering it, and I hope your listeners are getting ready to vote.
Yeah, for sure. As I wanted to mention, I know that we're experiencing a little bit of inflation right now. We've seen prices gone up, gas prices, grocery items. If we do experience a recession, how would you help the vulnerable communities?
So I think we've done a number of things over the course of the last 3 3/4 years. We've made record investments in education. We've closed that gap between districts and built in equity for English language learners, for kids who are at risk, for kids with special needs. We built more resources in. That's really important to support families and get kids on track. We have balanced budgets, rebuilding infrastructure. I know infrastructure is not the most exciting thing to talk about, but when you bust a rim on your car, that's money out of rent or childcare for a lot of people, and that's why doing the foundational things is so important. And we've been able to leave some resources on the balance sheet. I think that tripling the earned income tax credit for people who are working full-time but aren't making enough money to take care of their families and keep up with inflation, this is how we can directly help 700,000 families in Michigan. Those are homes with 1 million children. So we are helping the kids of Michigan by this earned income tax credit, and repealing the retirement tax and pausing the sales tax on gas. These are all proposals I've made that are sitting in front of the legislature. I'm hopeful they get them done.
Okay. And another thing is that we know that there's a lot of undocumented immigrants here in Michigan. We know that they experience a lot of they can't receive assistance. They're paying taxes, they're working, but they just can't receive the basic needs of healthcare or driver's license. So that being said, if you were to be reelected, how would you be able to help this specific community?
Yeah, I'll work closely with the legislature to get a bill to my desk, because if you're working full-time or part-time and you're paying taxes in Michigan, you should have the ability to get a state-issued form of identification.
We know that during the pandemic, there was a lot of difficulty in the economy. The small businesses, they were kind of beginning and some were closing. How would you plan on helping the small businesses?
One of the things I'm pleased to see is that we've got the fastest small business growth in 23 years in Michigan is happening right now. That tells me that this is a state that's ready to hustle, and we've got entrepreneurs, but we need to make sure that they've got resources and access to capital, things that often are hurdles for businesses that are owned by people of color. And that's why this work to expand that opportunity and resources is so important. I think, Michigan is a tribute to the state that we have such a beautifully diverse population. People have come here for opportunity. We got to make sure that when they are seeking to put an idea into a business, that they've got a path, they've got support, that there's not too many barriers, and that we are able to streamline things. So that's one way that I think we'll be able to do more.
Okay, and then you're seeking this re-election. What do you think you would do different in this re-election if you were to be elected compared to what you have been doing in the past 4 years?
Well, first, let's hope and pray none of us lives through another global pandemic again. That was an unforeseen thing that took over the whole globe and made all of our lives tougher. I think we've really laid the groundwork to do more when it comes to making Michigan a top 10 state for literacy, when it comes to landing more investment in cutting-edge, good-paying jobs of the future and securing our economy. When it comes to drawing people into this state, I think that we've got a wonderful story of our past, the place that people came to for opportunity. We need to make sure that continues to be Michigan a welcoming state where there is a path for everyone to prosperity.
Okay, and what would happen to Michiganders if you weren't reelected? What do you think would happen to Michiganders?
Well, I'm worried. I'm worried about our democracy. The one reason that voting rights haven't been eviscerated yet is because I keep vetoing the efforts of our legislature to create more hurdles for people to participate in our democracy. I worry about women and girls who would lose the ability to make their own decisions about their health. I worry about doctors and nurses who could be thrown in jail for simply taking care of a woman and her reproductive rights. I worry about public education. My opponent is bankruptcy bankrolled by Betsy DeVos? Would you rather have the governor who got the biggest investment in public education writing next year's budget, or someone who is bankrolled by Betsy DeVos? So these are the things I think that are really important. And another stark difference is my opponent is against economic development incentives. That is how we've landed record investment, creating good paying jobs, making semiconductors and advanced mobility and life sciences. These are jobs you can raise a family on. That work is important, and she would undermine it all. So I worry about all these things, and that's why this election's so important.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.